The same company that spent the last decade telling America it was the last line of defense against Chinese chip dominance just posted a $10.3 billion loss on the exact factories built to prove that point. They're calling their new manufacturing process 18A, which I assume is named after the exact number of years it's going to take before it turns a profit. Intel is still one of the largest chip makers on Earth, still employs over 100,000 people, and is still technically a functioning public company. It just can't generate enough profit to survive without outside life support, which in finance has a specific, unflattering name, a zombie company. It wasn't long ago that Intel basically was the chip industry. For decades, if you owned a computer, there was a very good chance Intel silicon was inside it, and the phrase Intel inside was less of a slogan and more of a fact of life. Then TSMC quietly became the company every serious chip maker actually manufactures through. Nvidia ran away with the entire AI boom, and Intel, the company that used to define the category, became the company everyone was mildly surprised to remember still existed. So Intel responded to this slow humiliation the only way a struggling legacy company knows how: an aggressive, expensive, multi-year bet that a brand new manufacturing process, 18A, would let them leapfrog back into relevance and start manufacturing chips for outside customers the way TSMC does. That bet created a new problem though, because being years behind on manufacturing yield isn't something you can PowerPoint your way out of. Here's how the actual damage works mechanically. Intel's foundry division, the physical factories that manufacture the chips, posted an operating loss of roughly $10.3 billion for fiscal year 2025. Not a rough quarter, not a revenue miss. An actual operating loss, meaning it would lose the company less money to simply stop manufacturing than to keep running the machines. The whole comeback thesis hinges on one specific number: yield, the percentage of usable, defect-free chips that actually come off a wafer. Until yield climbs high enough, which basically means until the factory stops accidentally making expensive coasters, every wafer Intel runs on 18A loses money instead of making it. Reports through this year have consistently pushed that profitable yield timeline back to late 2026 at the earliest, more realistically into 2027, which in chip manufacturing terms is the corporate equivalent of a video game getting delayed so many times it becomes a running joke before it even ships. According to Intel's own messaging, 2026 was supposed to be the year the foundry story flipped from cautionary tale to comeback. But here's the number that actually matters more than any earnings call promise. In the first quarter of this year, AMD, the company Intel spent 2 decades treating as its scrappy, budget-tier little sibling, posted $5.8 billion in data center chip revenue, edging past Intel's $5.1 billion in that exact category. Data centers are where the actual money is right now, thanks to the AI boom, and Intel is losing that fight to the company it used to barely acknowledge as competition. Nvidia, meanwhile, sits at somewhere around 92% of the AI chip market. Intel's share is close enough to zero that it barely shows up on the same chart. But honestly, the yield numbers and the AMD comparison are way less interesting than the actual mechanism keeping Intel upright at all, because this is where the zombie label really earns itself. Intel received $7.86 billion in CHIPS Act taxpayer funding, specifically to strengthen US semiconductor manufacturing, and it's been leaning on that lifeline hard, all while cutting over 15,000 jobs, among the largest workforce reductions in the semiconductor industry's history, including an Oregon site that lost roughly a fifth of its local staff in a matter of months. That's the entire zombie pattern in one sentence. Taxpayer money propping up a comeback story, while the workforce that money was partly meant to protect gets quietly gutted underneath it. So is the comeback story actually real? Probably not yet, but it's not dead either, and that's precisely what makes zombie companies so uncomfortable to watch instead of easy to write off. The stock did rally as much as 270% over one 6-month stretch this year, purely on the promise that 18A could still work. And Intel remains the only major American company still trying to compete at the actual cutting edge of chip manufacturing, which matters for reasons well beyond the single stock ticker. A slipping timeline isn't automatically a cancelled one. That's it for this one. I'll catch you in the next video.